The notice requirement provided for the open public meeting law has been satisfied.
Recording in progress.
Notice was properly given, said notice having been transmitted to the Courier News on Tuesday, January 16th, 2024, as well as posted on the city's website. Clerk, may we have a roll call?
Mic don't work.
1, 2.
Council members Briggs Jones,
Present.
Council member Cherry,
Present.
McCray,
Present.
Sessoms,
Present.
Wyatt,
Present.
Graham,
Present.
Council President Hockaday.
Present.
All members present, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and stand for the invocation.
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will and to grant the light of his spirit on all those who work for justice and peace. Amen.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of August 12th, 2024?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, the minutes have been approved. We will now move to presentations. Do we need to present for the library card month?
Yes, we are going to present. Should we maybe go on to the next one and
Okay,
give the mayor a chance to speak up?
absolutely. All right, so we'll move to our 40-plus Double Dutch Club in Plainfield. Julian Cherry, you have the floor. Councilwoman.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Tonight I have the honor and privilege to recognize a group of women that all happen to be over the age of 40. They provide fun, fitness, and fellowship to the residents of Plainfield. You've seen them participate at every community event, most recently the 4th of July Parade, National Night Out, where I believe our council president tried to jump double dutch.
Try.
I've seen our mayor try to jump double dutch last year. I want to bring up my co-captains, Rocky, Diane, and Beverly, come on up. Before we bring up the group and then call the council down, I just want to personally say thank you for your leadership, your love, and your guidance. I've watched you provide wisdom over this group of women, and I could attest as a member of 40 Plus Double Dutch that this is beyond the ropes. I've seen these women pray for each other. We've coached each other through death, through marriage, through anything, through birth, through birthdays. We are a true sisterhood. And I'm going to say on behalf of the council, I want to thank you for engaging all sectors of our community in the city of Plainfield, especially through age, gender, and race. So thank you so much. So I'm not going to read this in its totality, but I'm going to invite the group up in a couple seconds. But I'm not going to read it all. But whereas the city of Plainfield Council is proud to celebrate and honor the incredible contributions of the 40 Plus Double Dutch Plainfield and empowering sisterhood that champions mental health and physical health and friendships. Whereas since its inception on April 29th, 2022, with just 5 passionate members, the 40 Plus Double Dutch Club has blossomed into a vibrant and dynamic group of over 125 women meeting twice a week to uplift, inspire, and really inspire other people within the community and root within fitness, fun, and fellowship. Whereas the club's vision was creating communities, whereas women over the age of 40 that live out their purpose, while encouraging others to walk in health, empowerment, and has transformed lives in the members and positively have impacted the city of Plainfield, serving as a model for other clubs nationwide. So today, therefore, be it resolved that the city of Plainfield, the council, proudly honors and celebrates the 40 Plus Double Dutch Club for its joyful spirit, deeply committed in providing well-being to its members in the community, and for creating a space where all women can thrive in health, happiness, and unity. And I see our mayor just walked in, and I've seen our mayor as well jump double dutch last year as well. So I want to invite 40 plus to come up. Mayor, take a picture. Our council to come down, take a picture. Mayor, and I'll give the 40 plus an opportunity to say something.
Certainly, on behalf of the 40 Plus Double Dutch Club of Plainfield, we are humbly honored to receive this recognition on this evening. The 40 Plus Double Dutch Club of Plainfield has received multiple recognition, even on a national level. However, this is most important to us because this is the community that we serve, the city of Plainfield and surrounding communities. So we certainly count it an honor to be recognized by our very own city. We thank the city of Plainfield for providing a location for us to have our meetups. We also thank the Plainfield Board of Education for also providing space for us. And again, we are impacting lives of women, and when we impact lives of women, we also impact families. As Julian said, we have held each other through marital issues, through the death of family members, and so forth. So we don't take it lightly. We are certainly more than a Double Dutch Club. We are a true sisterhood, and we love what we do. We take it very serious in terms of just providing an outlet for women over 40 that go through things that women younger. Some of our women are caretakers to older parents. Some of us have lost parents while in the group. So greatly, we certainly count it an honor, a true honor to be recognized by our own city. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you to the mayor, thank you to the city council, and thank you to Julian for bringing this to the council's attention. We truly appreciate it, and we have just a token of appreciation. This is Mr. Hockaday jumping. Mayor, we have one of you. We don't have you jumping. I tried to get it, but we couldn't get it. And then Julian, this is when you first got your shirt. When she first joined 40 Plus. Oh, thank you. So these are also from Diane as well, and from 40 Plus. So thank you. Oh, this is for us. All right. Mayor, you want to say something?
So all I want to say is that you ladies rock. So we appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. You're an asset to the city, and we thank you and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
3, 2, 1. Another one. And one more.
Can't.
We will give a little time for 40 plus Double Dutch to move out. See some folks in the back. Some seats seem to have opened up in the front. So you can feel free to move on up, like the Jeffersons. Okay, we are going to have a presentation from Councilwoman Briggs Jones. Councilwoman, you have the floor.
Okay. Okay, if there's any members of Roof Fellowship, please come forward. I know Shakira is here to minister. Shakira Brown's here. Any members of Roof Fellowship, please come up. Good evening, everyone. I'm Councilwoman Terry Briggs Jones, 4th Ward. I bring to you tonight a presentation on behalf of myself and City Council. I wanted to recognize Reverend Tracy Brown for all her efforts and things that she did. I know she's not here today, but that's okay. We have her sister. That's all right. Second in control. Amen. So we thank God for her tonight. So I just wanted to, I wrote out a little something that I wanted to say, and hopefully she'll watch this. I'm sure she will. She had to be in class, but you know what? I want her to keep learning, because reading is knowledge and knowledge is power. And so with that being said, I'm not going to go through the whole resolution, but I will say this at first. Reverend Tracy Brown, this is to her. I want to take a moment to acknowledge and celebrate your remarkable 25 years of service. Your tireless efforts and unwavering commitment and relenting passion have made a profound difference in the lives of countless individuals, both within your church and in the broader community. You embody the true spirit of a servant leader, and your influence extends far beyond any title or role. Thank you for being an inspiration, a mentor, and a shining example of what it means to live a life of purpose and service. May this milestone be a testament to your enduring legacy, and may you continue to be blessed with the strength, wisdom, and joy to keep making a positive impact in the world. Although, P.S., Reverend Brown, although you wear many titles, there is one that overrides them all, and that is a child of God. And I always say, you can be a leader, but in order to lead, you must follow. And she's a woman after God's own heart. So I just wanted to make sure I say that. And then also, whereas in 2021, Reverend Brown further made history by becoming the first black woman to serve as a New Jersey State Police chaplain, once again demonstrating her trailblazing spirit and deep commitment in justice, service, and faith. And whereas Reverend Brown's pastoral leadership, dedication to social justice, and tireless community advocacy embody the very essence of her life's mission, as captured in the verse she so faithfully follows. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. Night is coming when no one can work. Therefore, be it resolved that the Plainfield City Council does hereby honor and celebrate Reverend Tracy L. Brown on her 25th pastoral anniversary, acknowledging her boundless contributions to the spiritual and civic life of our city, and commends her for her steadfast dedication to the betterment of humanity, both locally and globally. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be presented to Reverend Tracy L. Brown as a token of the city's profound appreciation and respect for for her legacy of faith, service, and leadership. One of the main reasons why this is so dear to me is because when I got elected, and when I got elected, I actually got elected on my birthday, which was November 2nd. And I said, you know what? Do you wait or do you go the first of the year? What do you do? They say, no, you can do whatever. So on the first of the year, I called Reverend Brown. It was late at night, and I said, Reverend Brown, would you do me a favor? Because I'm ready to work. I hit the ground running. And she said, what do you need, sis? And I told her. So when someone takes out their time, their energy, and say yes, that means a lot to you. And it meant a lot to me because she's not my pastor, but you know what? One thing's for sure and two things for certain, and everyone here can attest to this. When nobody had their church available, guess whose church was available? Reverend Brown's church was. And she opened up her church to everybody. And sometimes it cost them nothing. And so you don't forget things like that. And you don't forget when you can call on somebody like that. And that's what you call a true woman of God. And so it would behoove me not to recognize her for 25 years of service and 25 and 25 and 25 more. And I just wanted to make sure that I take this time out to recognize her because she's a beautiful soul. She's a beautiful person. Is she perfect? No. You show me a perfect person and I'll show you my Jesus. Amen. All right? Ain't that right? We got to have church up in here. So with that being said, I want to present these flowers on her behalf. And I also bought you some too. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. All righty. Let's give Reverend Brown a hand of applause. She might not be here, but she might be looking. All right. So y'all stay right here. Y'all deserve a photo op too. Y'all standing for y'all pastor. That's right. Amen. We don't stand alone. We stand together. Ain't that right? All right. Oh, hold on. Stand with us, everybody. Come on. City Council. We in this together. I'm sure somebody from your family used that church. Come on now. Let's take attendance. We don't do that. That's all right. We don't do that. Yes. Come on in. Y'all can come on in. We don't bite. We just chew. I got something for everything.
The Honorable Mayor O. Mapp. I will allow, call the Honorable Adrian O. Mapp to present for Library Card Sign-Up Month.
Well, good evening, all. At this time, I'd like to call forward the Executive Director of the Plainfield Public Library, Mary Ellen Rogan. I have a proclamation here for the library. I will not read the proclamation. I will simply say that the library is one of the greatest assets in the city of Plainfield. The library provides a level of service to the community that otherwise would not be provided had it not been there. And the library recently received a grant of well over $1 million to do capital improvements on the interior of the library. But when we look at the library and we look at the many programs, whether we're talking about reading, whether we're talking about community programs, the library is there for all of us to use. And each and every year we make sure that we provide the resources to the library that it needs, that it deserves in order to operate at a very high level. And so we appreciate the library. We appreciate you, Executive Director, and your staff for the wonderful job that you do each and every day serving the community of Plainfield. You make the library available to the residents, and every time there is a need, whether it's a community group, whether it's the municipality, we call, you answer, and the library is made available. So we appreciate you, and we appreciate what you do each and every day. So the only part of this that I'm going to read, since this is library card sign-up month, and we want everyone to sign up. We want everyone to sign up. And the Executive Director will have an opportunity to say a few words, but I'll say at this point. Now therefore, be it proclaimed, I, Adrian O'Mac, Mayor of the City of Plainfield, do hereby proclaim September 2024 as Library Card Sign-Up Month in Plainfield, and encourage residents to visit the Plainfield Public Library to sign up for a library card and explore all the resources and opportunities our library has to offer. I neglected to say that we have one of the best children's library in the state. The Reading Rainforest. And so it's a place where all of our kids and grandkids could go, and they will just soak up so much. And so let's support our library. The administration and council, we are committed to continuing to provide the support that the library needs.
Thank you, Mayor Mapp. Thank you, City Council members, for this proclamation and this honor. I just want to say that the things that we do at the library would not be possible if the city did not support us at a greater rate than they have to support us. Our library is what it is because we are valued by not only all of you, but by also the people that run the city. I just would like my staff and my volunteers and my friends to come up so we can take a quick picture. I've got Barry Good here. He's been volunteering and reading to our children for 10 years. And I've got Nancy Pivovar, who has been working with us for the past few years, doing excellent history programs for the people of Plainfield and for all of Union County. Please come up. Claudia, can you get somebody to take a picture for us? And Inez Durham, I'm sorry. She's our mayor's designee and our board member. Everybody come up with it. You're just kind of phasing into the room. Come on, Barry. We want you in pictures. And we need to get Claudia. Claudia, you gotta get
Let's say it for the library.
I don't think we need a picture for the next one. We don't need a picture. I'm going to invite Darlene McWilliams up, as well as Bill Neerstadt. You want to come up and talk about the Albert T. McWilliams Bike Trail.
I feel like I should be facing that way.
Your choice.
My choice. Well, I'll try to do both.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Darlene McWilliams, and Albert McWilliams was my husband. I want to thank all of you, especially Mayor Mapp, another M, Mayor Mapp. I want to thank you, Councilman and President Council Hockaday, and all of the council members and the city administrators who did so much to bring about and make this bike trail possible. On August the 16th, that the permanent markers were dedicated there so that we know now where the actual bike path begins. And what I want to say, I took a few notes because when you have a moment like this, you don't want to miss this opportunity to say these most meaningful things. I am very proud of my city. I am proud when I go out into other communities and people mention Plainfield. I can beam about my town because for reasons that you saw earlier, the Double Dutch, the library, and we have a lot of treasures in Plainfield. But I want to thank you so much for the dedication of that bike trail. For me, it's more than a bike trail. It's more than a path. It stands for me as a symbol of our connection to our community, how our community is connected. And it reaches beyond our city's borders, in my opinion. Since the unveiling of the markers, I've heard from countless citizens who share with me this excitement about this bike path. And it's been incredibly moving for me that not only Plainfielders, but people outside of the city are also very excited about this bike path. We know for sure that bike paths and trails, like this particular one, elevate the human spirit in profound ways. They inspire physical activity, they unite people, they provide a peaceful refuge for reflection. Whether people are riding a bike, whether they're walking, whether they're pushing their grandchild, as I do, on a tricycle, whether they're in a wheelchair, it doesn't matter. This bike trail is a symbol of what is important to the human spirit. Today, in we have a world that is so divided right now. People are looking for peace and harmony. And I'm extremely excited that this trail has become a pathway for that. It becomes also a lasting legacy for all of us who value human life and want to, we strive to lift other people up. And I would go so far to say that everybody in this room fits that category. We're about lifting people up. That's what this council meeting is even all about. And it's what the path is about. It speaks volumes to how we have a commitment to even our environment. It's a testament to who we are as a city. And however meaningful all of that is, I must emphasize that this is only the beginning. It's only the beginning. There's quite a ways to go. There are still miles to go to transform this bike path into a true jewel for Plainfield. The possibilities are limitless. I've done quite a bit of research on bike trails, and it's exciting to know that these are all across the country, and often many of them connect with each other. And for Plainfield, in our region, we are one of the few that will have a bike path. My purpose tonight is to initiate serious discussions about how we can move forward from here. As we all know, everything comes with a cost, and the bike trail is no exception to that. I understand that there may already be some funding in place, and I also know that there may be more opportunities to secure additional funding, whether it's through grants, state money, for example, or maybe even Councilman Hockaday in the city budget. I don't know. Moreover, I'm excited to share that we have a growing list. I have a growing list of people who have approached me since finding out about the bike path to create a group called Friends of the Trail. These dedicated people will not only help us with the funding, possible fundraising, etc., but will also be instrumental in using their creative ideas to ensure that the trail's success is ongoing. There's a possibility that this group of people, the Friends of the Trail, can also be instrumental in doing things such as, keeping it clean and making it beautiful. So we're not asking for the city to do everything, but we are wanting to engage our community and even people outside of our community. One thing that I would like to do is I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge Bill Nearstead, who has worked, as you know, as city planner. And he's been instrumental in the feasibility study as well as finding state support. His guidance has been instrumental to me in helping me to understand what this bike path is really all about. So I don't like to recreate the wheel. I like to keep momentum, and I think that you councilmen and women will agree with me that we should keep momentum going. And whereas his advice has been quite instrumental, alongside with the mayor, of course, and alongside city administrators such as Veronica Taylor, Department of Recreation, Orrin Dabney, Department of Public Works, and also I have not had an opportunity to talk with her yet, but Zenobia, did I say your name right? Zenobia Fields with Economic Development. It takes the hands of all of these people, including the council, to keep this and make it a success. So my purpose in being here tonight is to help us think in terms of keeping the momentum going. And I think as an actionable step, I'd like to see us organize a meeting to discuss the path moving forward. And whereas I think there is a lot of momentum behind this project, I'd like for us to please seize the moment while we can to make this a lasting contribution to our entire community and a legacy for all generations to come, including my little grandson that's over here, little Moses. But I thank you so much for what you have done. I do not take it lightly. My family does not take it lightly. We are honored and humbled by your acknowledging and remembering my husband. But it's not just about him. This should be about the children and the people of our community, and I'd love to be a part of it, and I thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Good evening. I know some of you thought I'd never be back here, but I'm back, and I'm glad to be back, and I thank council for having me. I was told to keep this. I'm sort of the technician tonight, and I was told to keep this short, so you'll be happy to know. That's it. I thank Mayor Mapp and all those who organized and made the arrangements for the August 16th dedication of the first section of the Albert T. McWilliams Trail and invited me to it. It was great to be there and to see and feel the real enthusiasm for the trail. As Darlene said, what we saw that day is just the beginning of a 7-mile-long bicycle and pedestrian trail that will see Plainfield residents connected, and this is, I want you all to take this in, via other existing and proposed trails to the Delaware and Raritan Canal, New Brunswick and Trenton, through the existing Union County bicycle and pedestrian corridor to Echo Lake, Lenape, Nomahagan, and Blackbrook Parks, and the Elizabeth River to the Goethals Bridge. And eventually, this trail connects with the East Coast Greenway, which we can all hop on our bikes and bike down to Key West. So this trail, okay, is part of, as Darlene said, a longer trail. East Coast Greenway goes from Key West all the way up to Maine. So all you have to do is finish this trail. I wish it was that easy, but finish this trail, and that's another link okay, to getting on the longer pathway. And it's very important for council to recognize that this trail is already fully designed. You're not starting from scratch. Approximately $400,000 has already been spent determining if this trail could even be created, and then designing the entire trail and installing the first quarter-mile trail section from Jefferson to Rock Avenues. Now these drawings need to be converted to working drawings, annual phases of implementation determined, bids let, annual appropriations from City Council made, and construction continued. When originally envisioned and planned, this trail was to be a 20, 30-year capital project, with anticipated joint funding coming, as Darlene mentioned, from NJDOT and NJDEP trail grants, and matching grant dollars through the City Capital Improvement Program. This vision can still be attained with the support of this council. Last paragraph. Municipalities throughout New Jersey are advancing bicycle pedestrian trails as we sit here. Earlier this year, this council adopted a resolution supporting Union County Connects, which is advocating the conversion of rails to trails, and together with Union County, is progressing forward with the conversion of the old Railway Valley Freight Train Rail Corridor linking Roselle Park, Kenilworth, Union, Springfield, and Summit. More rails to trails conversions, including the Staten Island Rapid Transit. The abandoned portions of the old Central Railroad of New Jersey are on their way. The Albert T. McWilliams Trail can and will be a vital connection and essential part of this network. I am proud to be a past part of this endeavor. I look forward to playing a continued role not only for future groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings, but also biking the entire 7-mile long trail with all of you. So I thank you very much. I look forward to council supporting this. And I did say annual appropriations, and I know what that means. So hopefully we can advance that and make this trail a reality. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. 4 presentations that you've seen are all ways that we all get, all reasons why we love Plainfield. What do you think about that Love Plainfield campaign, Councilman Graham?
You know, the Love Plainfield campaign is an awesome campaign, and I want to give kudos to, well, here's what happened. When we had our Queen City Street Fair, I had asked, well, what event planning company did we use as a municipality? And Jazz Clayton Hutt said, well, we kind of did it ourselves. I said, you mean to tell me our employees planned this themselves and put this together themselves? I was very shocked and fascinated and also proud, because who knows our city better than we do? And to learn that our employees planned this, put this together, and all of our departments came together and made this arguably one of the most successful events in our municipality this year. And I just want to give kudos to the following employees that were involved. Of course, Jazz Clayton Hunt, Andrea Wright, Melissa Hunter, Leandra Fuentes, Josh Howard, Earl Holder, Jamie Glover, Anna Castellano, Michelle Grant, and others, and particularly Felicia McNeil, and particularly, of course, our department directors, staff, police, DPW. All of you guys did such an amazing job. I really enjoyed that event. It was such an amazing experience, and I'm glad it happened in Plainfield, and I'm glad we did it ourselves. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to our business for the night. We have ordinances MC 2024-45 through MC 2024-50 and bond ordinance 1281 through 1284, which are scheduled for public hearing and final passage for the regular meeting as advertised. All right. Regarding the legislative body items 359-24 to 364-24, do we have consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Are there any items that anyone wants to take off the voting meeting for the consent agenda? Okay. So we need a roll call or affirmation. What is that? No, this is just the legislative body items. Only the legislative body items. Those are the council items. Okay, can we have a roll call on adding the legislative body items to the consent agenda?
You just need consensus, Councilman.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? All right. Those will be added to the voting meeting. Okay, we will move next to the mayor business administrator items. Madam BA, would you please present your items?
Yes. So all of my items this evening are related to the PBA and SOA contracts, which I am so pleased to have on for you this evening. We have the MOA with the SOA and the PBA, and then later tonight you'll see the amendments to their salary ordinances matching what's in these MOAs. I know there's probably a lot of questions about this, which I'm happy to answer, but I really just want to give a huge thank you to Officer Adams, who met with me every week this summer, whether he was working or not, and was just such a partner with me. We both really wanted to get this done. This contract, these MOAs, were voted on 116-0 by the PBA and the SOA. And so they're a huge success on both ends, and I'm really pleased to have them for you tonight.
Great work.
Council President?
Yes, go right ahead, Mayor.
Yeah. I also want to add to what the BA said, that Officer Adams has been a breath of fresh air. And I must say, and I think we all know, that leadership does matter. And there had been a stalemate between the PBA and the city of Plainfield for quite some time. And we always wanted to get to the best place for both the Plainfield PD as well as the city of Plainfield. And so, in spite of great efforts over the last couple of years, we were not able to get there, but it wasn't without trying. And when we had Officer Adams stepping into the leadership of the PBA and coming to the table, well-intentioned, and wanting to get the best for the members of his union, while at the same time recognizing the need for the city to look out for what was in the best interest of the city, I think we were able to come together in partnership, and we got to the best result. And so, however, we got there, I think that there was a lot of effort, a lot of time expended in the process, but it was well worth it, because we got to a place where both parties were satisfied to the point, as was indicated by the BA, that 116 men and women voted in the affirmative to approve the contract. And so I appreciate the service that our Plainfield PD provides to the city on a daily basis, and we will continue to do all that we can to provide you with the support that you need in order to serve the city of Plainfield to the best of your ability. And in anticipation of the approval by the governing body, I want to thank you as well for recognizing and understanding that it is never easy when it comes to labor negotiations. But I am a firm believer in the labor movement, and at the end of the day, we got to the best place. And so I want to thank everyone who's been involved in the process. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, do we have consensus to add these items to the voting meeting? Or any questions from council first? Yes, go right ahead.
Again, going back to my last statement, just kudos to the leadership, the PBA, of course, in the city of Plainfield. We know our city better than anyone else, and PBA did not have to go to arbitration, did not have to take any further steps than just working things out amongst ourselves, and just kudos to everyone. I'm glad that everyone came to an agreement and the contract is finally done.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from council members?
Yes, a comment and a question. Good to go?
Yes, sure.
Okay. First, I would like to say that I'm looking forward to Coffee with the Cop, and being as though that you guys did settle, community, make sure that the coffee is on the cops since they did have the settlement go through. The next thing is, the question is, does this settlement and the amendment to the salaries, does it address the top pay issues, which has been a key factor in driving many of our police officers to leave for other municipalities?
So this MOA addresses what was most important to the police and what was most important to the administration. What was most important to the police is obviously the top pay issue, and this does get them to over where they had needed to be at the end of this contract. It also does consolidate from 13 to 12 steps over the course, in the final year. That was a priority for them. A priority for the administration was really related to health benefits and the free benefits in retirement that we're living in, forever for anybody who comes on the force, and we'll forever be paying the full bulk of their retiree benefits. And so that was of utmost importance to us, because eventually somebody will have to pay for that, and we didn't want to, leave that to the city. And so both of those things were addressed. We were really creative here, and this is probably their first 6-year contract. And there's things we're able to do, not this year, knowing what health benefits looks like, but we would be able to do in the future. And so this did address everything that, that they were looking for and what we were looking for.
And Council President, if I may add, this is the best contract in the history of the police department.
I can go over some numbers if there's questions on that.
Yes.
So in terms of previous contracts, 2010 to 2014, they got 6% over 4 years. The following contract was also 6% over 4 years. Most recently, it was 7% over 4 years. This is 18% over 6 years. So it's fair on both ends. I really have, just to stress that, it's fair on both ends.
Well, the 116 to 0 is a very compelling number in that they are firmly behind this agreement. So I'm happy for all parties involved. Okay, so do we have consensus to add this to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Any oppositions or abstentions? All right, this shall be added. Department of Finance, please present your items.
Good evening, all. I have 4 resolutions for your approval. Resolution number 367-24, resolution adopting a corrective action plan in response to the 2 recommendations contained in the 2023 audit. 368-24, resolution authorizing approval to amend the municipal budget for 5 items of revenue and appropriation. Number 369-24, resolution granting advice and consent to the appointment of Ms. Yasmin Abbasi as tax assessor. And resolution 370-24, resolution authorizing approval to cancel 2024 taxes in the amount of $21,981.37 due to 100% disabled veterans.
Okay.
Are there any questions?
That's the question I had. Any council members wish to speak on any of these issues? Questions, comments? Okay, do we have a consensus to add these to the voting meeting?
So moved.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions?
Council President, I abstained from R 368-24.
Okay, can that be noted by the clerk? All right, Department of Public Works Director, would you please present your item?
Good evening, Mr. Council President, members of the council. The Department of Public Works has 4 resolutions to present. Resolution R371-4, resolution authorizing approval for street openings at various locations to enjoy water in accordance with the City of Plainfield Municipal Code, Section 13:42G of regarding 5-year moratorium. Resolution 372-24, resolution authorizing approval to accept the grant agreement with the State of New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection in the amount of $400,199. This is for the playground that we're going to do over at Rushmore. Resolution 37324, is resolution authorizing approval of submitted grant application for $125,000 to the County of Union for the Kids Recreation Trust Fund grant. This will go for an ADA playground at Hannah Atkins Park. It's a one-to-one match. Resolution 37424, resolution authorizing the water professional service contract with Benoni Associates. This is for the Green Acres Site Environmental Service remedial investigations. Another investigation we have to do for the Madison Avenue Skate Park Outdoor Fitness Area, an amount not to exceed $75,000. Any questions?
Any questions from council members? To my left, to my right. My only comment with regards to the roadway openings, I mean, obviously, you know, we've gone through pains to pave almost all of the roads in Plainfield, so sometimes I cringe when I see that the water has to dig up the ground and the pavement, and many times it's not like new. So, but I understand that there are some solutions that your department is considering, that we could consider that could help alleviate the patchwork that they do when they dig up the cement.
So, and that's a valid point, Mr. Council President. What we're looking to do, everything we're doing is getting everybody to go curb to curb with everything that has to be done. Unless it's like a small patch, which would be infrared, something small. But most of the roads will be curb to curb, everything that we do in the city of Plainfield, based on the new ordinance we put forth for that.
Okay.
And we're going to oversee that to make sure that's done. And by the way, this right here is regarding the lead pipe replacements. That's a federal project that we're doing to get this done. So we have 991 more service areas that we have to do in the city, and they'll be finished with the city of Plainfield. And this guarantee we have in writing that curb to curb is what we're going to expect from New Jersey American Water and their contractor.
Okay. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Any other questions? All right, do we have consensus to add these to the voting meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, please add these to the voting meeting. All right, the Department of Economic Development. Director, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, Council President and Council. I have items R375-24 through R385-24. So the first resolution, starting with 375, this is to submit an administrative budget for the urban enterprise zone. What we would do with the administrative budget, it covers the salaries of the economic development staff members, as well as our operating expenses related specifically to the urban enterprise zones, and also professional development activities related to the zone. The next resolution is to enter into a contract with Benoni Engineering. What this would allow us to do is we are going to begin the construction of the pedestrian mall. So the pedestrian mall is going to be from North Avenue and Gavitt Place. This will bring on Benoni Associates on as our city engineer for the project to administer through construction and operation. The next three resolutions are related. Excuse me, I skipped one. I'm looking at 377. 377 is related to going after a grant for the U.S. Department of Transportation. This is a charging fueling infrastructure grant. We are looking for approval to apply and accept a grant up to $15 million. This grant would be used to develop a sustainable parking deck in the back of City Hall. It would be also install at least 20 electric vehicle charging stations. It would also install a battery backup, as well as looking at solar panels on top of the parking deck. The next three resolutions are related to approval to authorize a study for redevelopment. The first study is going to be related to the parking deck that I just discussed, that are for the parcels that are in back of City Hall. There are a total of 3 parcels there. Then the next group of parcels, one is over by the Salvation Army, and the city recently purchased and subdivided the parcel right next to it. That parcel that we subdivided out, that would also be to build a sustainability kiosk, which would include a location for electric vehicle shuttle. The next set of parcels that are up for studies, this is the block that goes along Watchon that's in between 5th Street and Court Place. We would look at those parcels for study for redevelopment. This would allow us for opportunity to create activities downtown, including retail shops, restaurants, and commercials in this area. The next set of resolution is looking to conduct a redevelopment study for the municipal lot 4. This is the municipal lot that's behind McDonald's. That address, 1824 Madison Avenue, is the municipal lot behind McDonald's. This is currently being studied because we have the possibility of partnering with the developer for 100% affordable senior housing. The next resolution is to look at permission to prepare a redevelopment plan. This is looking at the city-owned plant that's on Rock Avenue. It also looks at the Comcast building that's on Rock Avenue, as well as the health center. This is looking at a non-condemnation redevelopment plan. None of those facilities that are currently there would be defunct. They would continue functioning. This offers us opportunity to subdivide the parcels and to develop on the green space. The next resolution is looking to authorize the withdrawal of a sale. Earlier this year, we did a land disposition and a designation for cannabis cultivation and manufacturing at 520 to 532 South Avenue. We are asking to withdraw this for lack of meeting agreement terms, and this would allow us to look at the possibility of selling these parcels for affordable housing. The next resolution is related to the liens placement on properties for cleanup. It's a total of 24 properties. This would put the lien placement because of the cleanup with debris and the grass cutting. The last resolution is related to authorizing the application and receipt of a grant from the New Jersey Environmental Protection Agency. This is related to hazardous discharge site remediation funds. This is at a site that is currently owned by the city that we're under contract with for a developer at 1092, 1098 Arlington Avenue. The point of looking at this for about $91,000 is that the site remediation has already been conducted. They've already gone through the preliminary assessment. What we're doing right now is allowing to take boring samples, testing the soil to make sure that there is no longer any presence of any hazardous material. Any questions, council?
Any questions from council members?
Yes.
Regarding any of these resolutions?
I have a question.
Feel free. Go ahead, Councilman Wyatt.
Yes, R380-24. I received many of phone calls today, and I know last meeting we talked about communication and how we convey messages. Many of the community members that reached out, they were up in arms about the resolution and what this study actually means to the businesses and organizations that are currently there. And so some, I can understand the frustration. Some of them were saying, imagine finding this out the day of a meeting that their property may be taken away. So I think it's time for us to just, as we did Saturday, maybe educate the community on what the steps are, what's the process. Some of the questions were, why didn't anybody reach out to me? Why didn't they do a variance and send it to all the owners there? So we can just speak to some of that. And one of the couples, one of the places that many of us visit, the coffee shop, and they were overseas, and reached out via WhatsApp and, voiced their concerns about this. So if you can just do a thorough explanation, because when people don't have the information, then they start making up stories. And sometimes people don't know what the truth is. And many of times you look at this and people are saying, here goes more apartments, because that's what we have been doing. Some of the stories have been municipal complex is going to be built. So if you can just speak to that, exactly what's going to go on here, and maybe in the future we can do a better job with conveying the message, what the process is, and so people can follow a flow chart of what goes on.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. So first off, to be clear, anytime we enter into a study, it is just that. First of all, this is being entered as a non-condemnation study, meaning that there will be absolutely no taking of any property. We are at the first phase of any study. So when we look at a study, we're seeing if we can identify, do a property search, look at all the records, whether we're talking about an examination of vacant property, occupied property, looking at it, the inspections reports, looking at the fire department reports, looking at the health reports, looking at anything that has to do with sewer and solid waste to see if it meets the criteria for redevelopment. Once we have that study done by our redevelopment planner, it is presented to the planning board. At that time, when you present it to the planning board, for this meeting, it was noticed when it's presented to the planning board, any of those parcels that are identified in the study within a 200 feet radius, all of the property owners are notified and invited to come out to the public hearing for that redevelopment study to be presented. Should the redevelopment study and the planning board choose to recommend to the council for this study to move in to be designated an area in need of redevelopment, it comes back to the council. At this entire time, it is non-condemnation. At no time are we taking those properties. Once it comes back to the property, again, there's a notification to the public. It's presented to the council, the findings of the redevelopment studies. It will be stated why it was designated an area in redevelopment and why it was found in need. Should the council decide to move on from a redevelopment study to prepare a redevelopment plan, the redevelopment plan is developed by the administration with the help of a redevelopment consultant. Those recommendations are presented to the planning board again. The planning board again will recommend back to council whether to adopt the redevelopment plan. The redevelopment plan is a new set of zoning. So once we have our current land use zoning ordinance, that's in chapter 17, once we have a new set of land use ordinances that come with bulk standards, I should say, that come with the redevelopment plan that includes the density, the setback, the property uses. It also includes the open space and looking at the height of any of that building. That is presented to the council for adoption. It goes through 2 readings should the council choose to adopt it. One thing I will add to that is that the reason why we decide on a lot of these studies is oftentimes the property owners themselves come to us about the development. So I'm a little surprised that a coffee shop owner, I'm not sure if it was Queen City Roasters, but Queen City Roasters requested a meeting with us to discuss the redevelopment possibilities. That's why we're presenting this to council.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Director. That was pretty clear in terms of the process, educational to many of us, so we appreciate the thorough explanation of that process. We do have a duty to look at all corners of the town to see where we can improve it, and that is how we change and continue the renaissance that Plainfield is going through and continue it going. Very important to note the non-condemnation part where we aren't taking, well, the administration isn't taking, but more importantly, not even attempting to take these properties. So, do we have questions from other council members?
Yes.
Go right ahead, Councilwoman.
Item number R382-24. Can you just expound on that a little more? And what are we looking at going on that that property right there?
Sure. So this is looking at the sewer and solid waste plant. That's what you're looking at on Rock Avenue. You're also looking at on Rock Avenue, they have the Comcast building that's currently there. And then you have the healthcare center that's there. None of those current uses would end. They would continue. What we're looking at now, and we were approached by a charter school for the possibility of developing that site where they would subdivide out some of the parking lot and the green spaces of each of those properties for development of a school.
A charter school?
Charter school.
Charter school.
Yes, a charter school.
Any other questions from council members?
No. I'm just behooved. Another charter school?
It's a charter school that is existing in the city.
Oh, okay. All right. I just wanted to.
It's
that's
not a
why-
new charter school. It's
Okay.
an
I just wanted to
existing
get some clarification because if we're going to continue to put all these apartments up, we're going to need some space for these kids to go.
Yep.
That's the reason why I asked.
And we are in discussions with the school board as well to find them space for the public school.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, there was another one. Where is it?
What do you think? I do appreciate, I do know, because, space for educational facilities is at a premium in the city of Plainfield. So we do need to continually look for opportunities to put new facilities. So the charter schools do play an effort in alleviating, the capacity issue that even the Plainfield School District has. So helping out charter schools, helping them find facilities also helps the district, and I'm pleased to hear that you also are having conversations with the school district and helping them with their need as well, because that's something that affects us all and all of our families. Any other questions? Go ahead.
R37924. Could you expound on that one again, too?
Yes, this is looking at the property, the Salvation Army property. Last year, the city purchased part of the property to subdivide out the gravel portion of the lot. So now the city owns the gravel portion of the lot. We've been using it for city employee parking. We will continue to use it for that purpose, but we're also looking to develop a sustainability kiosk. So a sustainability kiosk, not only could it house some charging stations there, but it'll have the solar panels on top of the kiosk. And it'll be a depot for us to pull in a electric vehicle charging shuttle, circulator that will go throughout the city.
Okay, so it wouldn't bother the
Salvation Army.
The Salvation Army at all, would it?
Not at all. It would
won't take
continue
any
to
away from the
function.
spaces, nothing from the.
Nothing.
Okay. Do we have consensus to add these to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Second.
Any abstentions or items that you want to remove?
There was another one.
Yes, no? I hear some hesitance. Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, please add these to the... Oh, please say the item.
378-24 through 380-24. You just still have to read over and think about it.
Okay, so those should be taken off the consent and voted on separately.
78 to 3 what?
Okay, Director of Health and Social Services, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Council President. The Department of Health and Social Services has two items tonight, R386-24, which recognize September 2024 as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. As many of you know, I don't know if you all recall Lenny Cathcart or know his name. I'm sure everyone in this room does. I just want to lift up his name because he's been pivotal as an agent of change here in the city of Plainfield in bringing awareness to prostate cancer, which impacts men, your brothers, your uncles, your sons. He's been doing a real yeoman's job about making education a pivotal point, to the point where we will have the House Music Festival. We'll be celebrating our 5th year. In that 5th year, I believe, and there's a public contest going on, I believe that we are one of, or the only municipality that recognizes prostate cancer as, in such a way. We have thousands of people coming out to our event, and certainly we welcome you and your families as that. And I believe that we are the only city that has a house music festival dedicated to prostate cancer awareness. Secondly, I would like to recognize Brain Aneurysm Awareness Month, which I probably should read that because it's so complicated, but I want to lift up Ms. Kay Johnson. She's a resident of Plainfield and a survivor as well, and through her Phoenix organization, she has worked very hard in making sure that education and awareness is important and known in the city of Plainfield. So those are my 2 resolutions, and I hope they are accepted. Thank you.
Questions from council members? Comments? We have consensus to add these to the voting meeting?
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay. All right, the Director of Solid Waste and Sewer, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Council President, Council. I have one resolution for your consideration tonight, 388-24, and this is a resolution that's the ongoing upgrades to the transfer station. This is a trailer port. It's to house our transportation vehicles, our large transportation vehicles. This would stop the rainwater from getting into those trailers when they're loaded, and it's a DEP requirement. You may have a different number in front of you. The number I have now is not to exceed 228,673.72. The previous number did not include prevailing wages. I want to just add also that this building will not have solar panels, but will be equipped to take solar panels in the future, because I think that we have a lot of area that's untapped for solar. So I'm glad that I hear that we're trying to apply for grants and things like that, because we can definitely use it down there.
Nice.
And I'm open to any questions.
Okay. Questions from council members? All right, do you have consensus to add this to the voting meeting?
So moved.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay. Let's see. Okay, ordinances for first reading. So would the BA proceed to present the ordinances?
Yes, sir. Okay, like I said earlier, the first 2 ordinances match up with the MOAs that you voted on earlier. This is to amend the salary ordinances for the PBA and the SOA. Then we have an ordinance to amend the off-duty rates. The off-duty jobs are not paid for by the city, but they're paid for by other entities that hire the police department employees to work off-duty, and this is an increase to their rates. That was something that was part of our negotiations, but again, it's not going to be a fiscal impact to the city. And then we have an ordinance to bring us into compliance with new DEP regulations regarding salt storage, and then an ordinance adopting the TODD South redevelopment plan amendment that was recommended at last week's planning board meeting.
Any questions from council members? Okay, do we have consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Okay, any abstention? All those say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions or opposition? Okay, hearing none, these shall be added to the voting meeting. Okay, we'll have a 5-minute recess and we'll return to the voting meeting. Thanks. Okay, we will move to consideration of public hearing, second reading and final passage. Madam Deputy, please read MC 2024-45 by title and certify that it is complied with all publication requirements.
MC 2024-45 is an ordinance authorizing the First Amendment of the financial agreement with SWE Plainfield Development Urban Renewal LP with respect to certain property identified as Block 233, Lots 2, 3, 7, and 12 on the official tax map of the city. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on August 30th, 2024.
Okay, the floor is now open to any member of the public who'd like to speak on this specific ordinance. The floor is now open.
Just one ordinance?
This particular ordinance here.
Can't talk about anything else?
Correct. We're going ordinance by ordinance on second reading. So you have an opportunity to talk about all of them, but one at a time. Okay, anybody online?
There is a caller online with their hand up.
Okay, please admit them.
This particular ordinance here.
Hi, this is Mary Bergwinkle from 1785 Sleepy Hollow Lane, and I'm calling about MC 2024-45.
Thank you. Right ahead.
I object to a project that will add 500 units and 1,000 new people to an area of the city where no one has lived before. The street infrastructure of the area is not large enough to absorb the traffic from the project. The parking for these projects, in my opinion, is always too little, and the neighborhood cannot absorb street parking for everyone's second vehicle. This project is insensitive to the area, an example of over-the-top development and spot zoning this administration is forcing on all of us. Build a smaller project, more in scale with the buildings in the neighborhood and the infrastructure. Regarding counselors who were at the meeting on Saturday, it was a very informative meeting. But if you're using that as coverage to vote yes when you tabled this last time, just know that all of your constituents are keeping track of that. Thank you.
Is there anyone else online?
Not with their hand raised.
Okay. All right, I'll close public hearing on this ordinance. Director, can you address the points made by the speaker?
So, Council President, I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of the stage that we're at. So this particular project, this has already been designated for redevelopment. We have already approved the new zoning for this area. So in terms of the statement that this doesn't fit into the current context, there's new bulk standard requirements for this area that is a different density looking at the height. And right now, this is for a 500-unit development that will have over 700 parking spaces. Is there anything else in particular that the council would like to know about this property?
Council members?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
I believe at the last council meeting, is this the property that one of our residents talked about contaminated soil?
Mm-hmm.
Was this the property?
Yes.
Could you expound on that, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
So for any of our projects, the developer is required to first do a preliminary assessment of the soil to see if there are any known contaminated sites. At the initial assessment, there were no known significant contaminated sites. Before they can get planning board approval, which this project has gone through site plan approval and has complete approval to be billed as of right now, is that they received in the report from our engineer a statement that they must provide a proof of report of remediation by a licensed site remediation professional. That licensed site remediation professional is regulated by the State Department of Environmental Protection as well as the Federal Environmental Protection Agency. They will have to prove, just like you all went through the adoption of a resolution tonight, or you will go through it tonight with the site that's on Arlington Avenue. They will have to prove that, one, they've either had the site capped, which it has to be into their detailed construction documents, and they will have to do soil testing for that site. This is not something that the city can bypass. It is absolutely regulated by the state and federal government.
Thank you, Director Fields.
Any other questions from council members?
And Director Fields, these are all affordable?
These are not affordable housing. This was approved in 2018 before we had our affordability goal.
Comment and questions?
Go right ahead, Councilman Wyatt.
Okay, at the last meeting, a resident came to the mic, and he asked us to just pause and take a breath when we are considering development. And I know you said that we're past that stage, but this is talking about 500 units that we're adding to the city of Plainfield. Question is, can our infrastructure handle this level of density? Talking about the roads, the congestion, it's already so much traffic now taking place here in the city of Plainfield. And although it's called Plainfield, it's not literally a plain field where the people who elected us are yelling, build, baby, build. And it's like, that's what we have got on the course to do. The question is, what are the potential consequences of proceeding without thorough impact studies? Because this is really changing the character of the city of Plainfield, projects like these.
So again, this project was approved back in 2018. It is allowed to be built as of right. When it was approved back in 2018, and it went back now recently to the City Planning Board for approval, they were required to look at the traffic impact studies, to look at it not only with the impact with the county, but also look at it according to state regulations. In terms of looking at the infrastructure, all of our development projects are required to look at the assessment for infrastructure for sewer, water, for example, looking at that infrastructure and the connection there, and the potential load on the property. This was done for that project as well as it's being done for any of our development projects. In terms of a comprehensive study, we've looked at this in our long-range master plan to see what type of load or what type of housing options we want for the city. So it truly has been considered in a comprehensive way, and it's going to be an ongoing discussion.
Follow-up questions, Councilman Wyatt?
Yes, good to go.
Okay. Okay, we've closed public hearing.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
I have another
follow-up?
question.
Okay.
With the 500 unit, again, I know you were saying that it was approved back in 2018, and the question was brought to your attention about if it was affordable housing. Did it include that? Is there a way to add on affordable housing? I'm just asking a question because I'll be honest with you, I'm going to say no on this.
Sure. So right now, when this was negotiated and this was presented to their financial institution, because they have to present it to a pro forma to their financial institution for approval to get it to build it. It was not presented as affordable, meaning that they presented what would be the monthly rent, for example. We would essentially have to go back to the beginning, and we already have approval, and the developer could potentially lose their financing.
If you all ever have a chance, come on down Front Street. It's just too much. It really is. It's too much. It's too much. I know I'm not on Front Street. I'm on 4th Street, 3 streets over. Within probably 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, we had 2 flipped cars. Another accident, an accident on top of accident. And one of the accidents was right in front of my house. That was only the 8th one in front of my house. That's okay. That's okay. We need that. We need that too. But it's just, I just have a great concern with the, with that traffic. It's just, I bet you, not one city council person here got more traffic on their street than me. I bet you. Take a study. Go to everybody's house. I promise you that. From the top to the bottom, nobody has more traffic on their street and more accidents on their street than me. My son's car was hit, and he didn't even get not one dime for it.
Any other council member wish to ask questions or chime in? Okay. Go right ahead, Councilwoman
Last
Cherry.
question. So once this goes up, how does the evacuation plan, does it get updated as new apartments are? If, I don't know if the director, Abney could talk about that, or Childress could talk about that? So once an apartment or any building goes up, what's the plan? Does the evacuation plan get updated?
Yes, periodically, the evacuation plan for the whole city is updated biannually. So as everything goes up, if there's any need to change it, we change it. If there's not, then we leave it as is. But it would be limited to that particular area, not the whole city. So as we build, each building has its own evacuation plan.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Councilwoman, and I just want Director Childress and Abney to get a chance to add. For any time that we review any development, it is required to be reviewed by the fire department and the police department. It's reviewed by the fire department to make sure that the fire trucks are able to safely enter into a parking area and to get to all the units that are there and to maneuver and to exit. This particular one will be on Plainfield Avenue. Then the next one for the police department, they also review it for safety in terms of the security fobs and how they will be able to enter the building and for emergency purposes. And the police department also, they have keys to the building as well.
Thank you.
Director, can you just say a little bit more about what it means when you say build, that they have the right to build at this point?
Okay. So the question that Councilman Wyatt asked earlier about the different steps, we have completed all of those steps. So we have gone through the steps of having the study. We have designated it in an area in need of redevelopment. We have develop a redevelopment plan. So the redevelopment plan, at one time, that area was zoned for mixed use, for example. Now it's zoned for the bulk requirements that are in the Marino Track redevelopment plan. That means that it has a different level of density. It has a different height requirement, where the height requirement before could have been looking at 3 stories. Now we're looking at the height requirement that it is right now. It has a different set of parking requirements. It has different setbacks and land coverage. So when we say we are at the point as of right, whether this tax abatement right now, this is basically to talk about the tax revenue that's going to come to the city. A developer right now can build that project as of right without the tax abatement. It's going to stay that way. You do not revert to the previous zoning. As of right, any developer can choose to purchase the site plan, which we do get. They can purchase it once it has planning board approval and build it as of right.
So what advantages does the city have when they're able to enter a financial agreement with a developer versus just letting them build it without a financial agreement?
So the financial agreement brings in amount of significant revenue. So before this project was developed, the revenue that the city was going to get was essentially 1.3 million. At this point, the city is going to be getting 63 million. So the advantages is the amount of revenue if it weren't for the pilot having it built.
So does that amount of revenue have an effect on the city's budget or services that the city can offer its residents?
Right, so it has a ripple effect on the city's budget because you're essentially putting it back into capital improvement. So when Councilman Wyatt was referring to the infrastructure, it goes back into the infrastructure improvements, for example, looking at the road repairs, looking at what we could do with transportation, looking at our parking lots, any of our capital improvements. That forms the city budget with that $63 million.
All right, I'll give any member that wishes to have a question or comment to speak once more before I call the question. Go right ahead, Councilwoman.
What are you currently collecting on taxes on this property?
1.3.
Any others? Okay, may I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage?
Second.
Okay, clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Roll call on MC 2024-45. Council members Briggs Jones.
No.
Councilwoman Cherry.
Yes.
Councilman McCray.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sessoms.
Yes.
Councilman Wyatt.
No.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
5 in favor, 2 opposed. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Okay. Madam Deputy, please read MC 2024-46 by title and certify that it is complied with the law.
MC 2024-46 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 16, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 16, Parking temporarily prohibited for snow plowing, snow removal, and other emergencies of the City Code for the City of Plainfield. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on August 19th, 2024.
Okay, the floor is open for any member of the public that'd like to speak on MC 2024-46 specifically. Anyone online? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close public hearing on this ordinance. Any questions, any further questions from council members? Okay, hearing and seeing none.
Question.
Oh, go right ahead, Councilwoman Briggs.
Okay,
Jones.
I think it's a good thing for them to have the snow removal and the vehicles have to move. But the question is, what happens to the residents that don't have parking spaces? And then again, with all these apartments again, where will these people go? Where are they going to park at? Will they get ticketed? I mean, how are they going to be rezoned? What happens?
Which director would like to address that question?
I'm sorry, Councilwoman Briggs Jones. What was the question again? In terms of snow removal?
No. Well, the question is, I know the snow removal, the vehicles and the traffic, everybody, they should move, they should leave, they should move their vehicles. But the question is, the people that don't have driveways, the people with all the apartments going up, where do the people go? Where do the residents go? Where do they park? Where do they pull into? What direction are they going to be moving? What's going to happen with them?
Well, traditionally, we work with DPW and other city entities that, will do alternate side of the street parking. They plow as snow falls. It's all these different things that we use to make sure that the roads are clear. We usually don't have a problem with that. The new buildings going up generally have parking within their own property, so it won't affect on-street parking.
Okay. All right, because I know with that property that they wanted to put down at 953 West 4th Street, they wanted to put those 53 to 64 apartments, 0.5 spaces. Where would those people go? I just want to know how they're going to be accommodated. I want them to move. They should move out the way so everybody can be safe. But where would the people
So
go?
the 953, as Director Abney mentioned, 953 to 955 West 4th Street. This is for 8 apartments, and all 8 units would have parking spaces under the building. There would be a separate lot.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because I remember you saying 0.5. Unless I heard something wrong.
No,
right?
not for that development.
Okay. I just wanted a clarification for the public so they'll know.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Council President.
Go right ahead,
Just so
Councilwoman.
I'm clear, the nexus of the amendment for this particular ordinance is about the illegal commercial vehicles that people are parking on their property. Is that correct?
Correct.
So what's currently before us is already in place, and that's not changing. This whole parking temporary prohibit for snow plowing, that's the title of the chapter, but the nexus of the edits that are coming before us as a body is to address all of those illegal commercial tow trucks and business trucks that people are parking in their driveway, and the neighbors have issues with that. Is that not correct?
Correct. That's correct.
Thank you, Councilwoman, for the clarifying question. May I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage?
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Roll call on MC 2024-46. Councilmember Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cherry.
Yes.
Councilman McCray.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sessoms.
Yes.
Councilman Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
This is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Thank you, Madam Deputy. Please read MC 2024-47 by title and certify that it is complied with all publication requirements.
MC 2024-47 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 13, Streets and Sidewalks, Article 4, Making of Excavations and Openings in Streets and Public Places, subsections 13:4-2, definitions 13:4-3, permit required, 13:4-4, permit application, and 13:4-17, maintenance and restoration of openings. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on August 19th, 2024.
Okay, the floor is now open to any member of the public that would like to speak regarding MC 2024-27. Would you like to speak regarding this one? Please come up, sir.
I can answer.
Go right ahead, BA.
Okay, so this ordinance is going to require utility companies that come into Plainfield to do underground work to repave the roads curb to curb when they make a cut in the road.
Is that just on main streets, or is that just?
Anywhere within,
Anywhere in the city.
What, did you have a comment regarding that, sir?
I was, the last thing that you guys just voted on, I was hoping to make a comment on that in regards to the vehicles.
Well, we do have a
Too late,
general
I
public
guess,
comment.
right?
No, it's not too late, but we have general public comment that comes a little later, and you can speak about it then. Thank you, sir. Okay, I'll close public hearing on this ordinance. May I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage?
Second.
Can we have a roll call, please?
Roll call on MC 2024-47. Councilmember Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
This is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Okay, thank you, Madam Deputy. Please read MC 2024-48 by title and certify that it's complied with the publication requirements.
MC 2024-48 is an ordinance by the City Council amending the City of Plainfield Code of Ordinances to repeal Chapter 17:12, MC 2002-29, December 2nd, 2002, to adopt a new Chapter 17:12.1 in accordance with the stormwater management rules at NJAC 7:8 and its amendments adopted March 2nd, 2020 and July 17th, 2023. The SCO meets minimum NJDEP requirements. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on August 19th, 2024.
Okay, the floor is now open to any member of the public who would like to speak regarding MC 2024-48. Is anyone online? Okay, may I have a motion? So I'll close public hearing on this ordinance. May I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Roll call on MC 2024-48. Council members Briggs Jones,
Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Sessoms,
Yes.
Wyatt,
C.
Vice President Graham,
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Thank you. Can you please read MC 2024-49, please?
MC 2024-49 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield, County of Union, New Jersey, adopting the 10th Amendment to the 197 Scattered Sites Redevelopment Plan dated July 18th, 2024. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on August 19th, 2024.
Okay, the floor is now open for any member of the public that would like to speak regarding this ordinance specifically. Anyone online with their hands raised? Okay, I'll close public hearing on this ordinance. May I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Roll call on MC 2024-49. Council members Briggs Jones,
Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Sessoms,
Yes.
Wyatt,
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Okay, we now move to MC 2024-50. Read that and certify it's complied with the publication requirements.
MC 2024-50 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield, County of Union, New Jersey, adopting the condemnation redevelopment plan dated August 1st, 2024. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on August 19th, 2024.
Any member of the public that wishes to speak on 2024-50, please come. Give your name and address for the record, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. My name is Stuart Seidenstricker. I work in an organization that's 225 Watchung Avenue. This is an organization, We're in the Spirit. I'm also a Quaker, and I worship at the same address, 225 Watchung Avenue here in Plainfield. So we're coming in to express our great concern in getting a proper public discussion on the ordinance MC 2024-50. A year ago, hundreds of people were put out of their homes when 3 buildings were condemned by the city in May, in June, and in August. The Superior Court of New Jersey said, and I quote, "The city's failure to adhere to property management code provisions caused substantial harm to tenants by requiring them to vacate the building rather than first provide the opportunity to cure the alleged violations and prevent people from having to relocate." Close quote. The residents, as we know, had to get out in 24 hours in May, in June, and in August. But their trauma continues to this day. Now we see that maybe there's a profit motive involved here. And the city, as the city considers to take over the property to redevelopment. I know this particular ordinance doesn't talk about it, but we heard here in this same meeting space before that eminent domain is a possibility. The people pulled out of their homes deserve to know why they weren't consulted, or if there could be any future for them in this plan of their needs, their lost and stolen property, their security, and if this is all a priority at all. We've seen you go in closed meetings to discuss this, but we believe you owe your own residents an open process and an explanation. We think that would be best served if this was tabled and such dialogue could happen. I know that the language of this had changed as it goes from one reading, second reading, and whatnot. This one today talks about a study that has 39 pages. I don't know if you all had a chance to read the whole study. One of the items that conduces to the conclusion that this should be redeveloped, as did the property are empty, because the city vacated the buildings. So the city vacated the buildings, and then a study comes in and said, by the way, since it's vacant, maybe we should redevelop. I know you're doing the best you can to make the city look best, and I
Finish your
appreciate that. Maybe you want to reconsider if this is one of the ways you want to do it.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for understanding.
Yeah.
Good evening. My name's Richard Loosely, 310 Hillcrest Avenue in Plainfield. I'm speaking for 2024-50. I read a lot of that 39-page redevelopment plan. One is a technical point. On page 26 and page 32, it talks about bulk requirements, and the numbers don't add up. I don't know if this is fatal to approving a second reading at this meeting, but the building coverage is 80%, and the maximum, and the open space minimum coverage is 25%. 80 and 25% equal 105%, but there's only 100% of the land there. Secondly, on page 26 and page 32, for two of the projects, the building maximum coverage is listed as 80%, but the impermeable coverage is listed as only 60%. So this ordinance is saying they can cover 80% of the land with a building, but at the same time saying impermeable coverage can only be 60%. And it's my understanding that impermeable coverage includes building, parking lots, sidewalks. So there's a contradiction there. You're giving the developer the right to build on 80% of the land, but then you're saying you can only build on 60% of the land, and meanwhile, you're saying he has to provide a minimum of 25% open space. So I don't know if those numbers need to be corrected. On the one of the properties, on page 29, seems that they got the bulk requirements correct. Then secondly, at the beginning of the redevelopment plan, it talks about how the developer has to comply with the state's written relocation assistance plan for any resident who was there in the previous 18 months. And I'm just curious, how is the city going to make sure that these residents who were there last year, within that 18-month period, will be contacted and provided for by the developer as if this project goes forward? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, public hearing is now closed.
We have one person.
Okay.
Virtual.
All right, so it's closed in person, online still open. Name and address for the record. You may speak regarding this resolution.
Mary Burwinkle, 1785 Sleepy Hollow Lane. I wanted to say that I thought that Mr. Sinstrucker and Mr. Loosely have been very eloquent about this, and I agree with them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Madam BA, you wish to address any of the points or the legal counsel? Either of you can address some of the points.
Yes, prior to first reading on this specific ordinance, council was briefed in closed session, both by myself.
Is your mic on? I'm not sure.
Try again. Can you hear me now? Is that better? Okay.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Council President. Prior to first reading on this specific ordinance, the City Council was briefed by the Economic Development Director, myself, and Redevelopment Council with the particulars, specifically because we are currently being sued by the landlord. Landlord is challenging the thousands of violations that have been brought. They are also challenging the designation of this as an area in need of redevelopment. For those reasons, it is my recommendation as your legal counsel that you do not engage in any conversation publicly about this matter, as anything could be used in the litigation moving forward. So that is my recommendation this evening. Thank you.
Okay. Public hearing is now closed. May I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage?
So moved.
Second.
Can we have a roll call, please?
Roll call on MC 2024-50. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
No.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is 6 in favor, 1 opposed. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Madam Deputy, please read Bond 1281 by title and certifies complied with all statutory publication requirements.
Bond 1281 is a bond ordinance providing for various 2024 capital acquisitions and improvements by and in the city of Plainfield, in the county of Union, state of New Jersey, appropriating $10,342,991, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $9,380,153 in bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on August 19th, 2024.
Okay, the floor is now open to any member of the public who'd like to speak regarding this bond ordinance. We have anyone online with their hand up? Okay, I'll close public hearing on this ordinance. Any questions from council members before I call a question? Okay, may I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Roll call on bond ordinance 1281. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This bond ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Thank you. Can you please read Bond 1282 by title and further that is confirm that is complied with the law?
Bond 1282 is a bond ordinance providing for various sewer utility acquisitions and improvements by and for the sewer utility of the city of Plainfield and the county of Union, state of New Jersey, appropriating $845,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $795,000 in bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on August 19th, 2024.
Okay, any member of the public wish to speak on Bond 1283? Okay, hearing and seeing none, close public comment. Can I have a motion to adopt this on second reading and final passages?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Roll call on bond ordinance 1282. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This bond ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Okay, now Bond 1283.
Bond 1283 is a bond ordinance providing for various solid waste utility acquisitions and improvements by and for the solid waste utility of the city of Plainfield in the county of Union, state of New Jersey, appropriating $1,960,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,910,000 in bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on August 19th, 2024.
Okay, the floor is now open to any member of the public who'd like to speak regarding this bond ordinance. Anyone online? Close public comment. Questions from council? And if not, I'll entertain a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Roll call on bond ordinance 1283. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This bond ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Thank you. Let's move to bond 1284, certified it's complied with the law.
Bond 1284 is a bond ordinance providing for various 2024 capital acquisitions and improvements by and for the parking utility of the City of Plainfield in the County of Union, State of New Jersey, appropriating $640,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $640,000 bonds or notes of the city to finance the cost thereof. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on August 19th, 2024.
Okay, the floor is now open to any member of the public that'd like to speak regarding this bond. Anyone online? Hearing and seeing no one in person, I'll close public comment. And now I'll entertain a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Roll call on bond ordinance 1284. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This bond ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Thank you so much. We now move to public comments limited to resolutions, motions, and ordinances to be introduced on first reading tonight. 30 minutes has been allocated for the same. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes. If you're online, the instructions are there. Floor is now open.
Good evening. I am Reverend Gloria Parker, resident 33 Westervelt in the city of Plainfield. I am speaking on behalf of the tenant association there, and we did have visits a couple of weeks ago. Councilman Graham, Councilman Cherry, we had visits with you all, and someone from the police department. I stand here and speaking about the noise that's been going on in the neighborhood. I am a part of the Civic Trust here in Plainfield, and we try to come together once a month.
I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but we will have a generic comment for all public comments, and you can speak on any topic at all.
Okay.
This portion is dedicated specifically for resolutions that are on for this night.
Okay,
So
I wasn't aware of that.
I
sorry.
do not fault you at all, and so
Okay.
I will invite you to speak up just momentarily.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
I apologize for that. So usually I ask, you can come up, but usually I will ask the speaker to identify the resolution tonight that they're speaking, and then that usually resolves whether or not they're giving a generic comment or something regarding a resolution tonight. You have a resolution that you want to speak to?
Yes.
Then I invite you up.
Kay Johnson, 1345 Sloan Boulevard, and I would like to thank you, Shep Brown, Veronica Taylor, City Council, Mayor, City of Plainfield, for the brain aneurysm awareness resolution. I am a survivor, and it's very important to get the word out. I worked here in the city for 37 years, and I had the aneurysm burst at Roosevelt and 2nd. Thank God for the rescue squad that came and took me to the hospital, and I'm here today. So thank you all, and looking forward to spreading the word about aneurysm awareness.
Nancy Peever, 1129 Myrtle Avenue. I'd like to speak on two resolutions.
R379-24, which deals with the Salvation Army. There's a number of lots, and the explanation was really well-spoken, but it's very confusing to the public why the Salvation Army building itself is included in this plan. Why would that be there if the explanation was just about the parking lot that was taken from the Salvation Army, and then the city paid funds after they took the Salvation Army lot? The other question I have is on R283-24, which repeals 377-23, the Cultivation Manufacturing LLC as the redeveloper. Can anyone tell me if this is the same parent LLC or an affiliate or subsidiary of the recent cannabis dispensary that was approved by the planning board at the last meeting at Clinton and West Front Street? The reason I ask is because if this resolution is being repealed because they couldn't come up with an agreement with the city, and if they are the same parent corporation of what's being put at Clinton and West Front, how do we know that they're going to be able to do what they said they're going to do at the planning board? Thank you.
Thank you for your questions. When we close public comment, I want you to answer both of those questions, okay? All right.
Good evening. My name is Yusuf Janadri. I'm the owner of 401-403 Watchung Avenue. I'm speaking on behalf, I'd like to comment on Resolution 380-24. So redevelopment, I had to look this up. The redevelopment law stipulates that a building is suitable for redevelopment if it is unsafe, unsanitary, dilapidated, or obsolescent. So I was surprised to see the 401-403 Watchung Ave on the list, as was countless community members who have emailed us, called us, texted us. I had no idea about this until literally an hour and a half ago, or 2 hours ago, technically, before this started. You know, I was there earlier today. It seemed pretty safe, pretty sanitary, and it was full of life. So from when I grew up across the street about 30 years ago, I used to live here, and now to seeing my brother succeed with his small business here, his passion project, Queen City, has become sort of a staple of the town. People love it. Everyone's there, and it's become. I'd like to say that it's really an example of what a community-led, profitable rehabilitation project can look like. Our family spent years investing in incubating retail projects for the community, and so, you know, like some of the retail projects that are being explored now, this is, you know, might as well just learn more about the one that's already here. And so rehabilitation, not redevelopment, of our beautiful buildings that are still standing in Plainfield should be the goal by supporting community events, building profitable businesses, and creating spaces that celebrate our history while allowing us to plan our future in those spaces. We want to see Plainfield flourish and thrive, but this must come through a collaborative and inclusive effort. We cannot allow this city's rich culture, history, and architecture become a lost memory. So I'd like for the record to show that also, because again, my brother's abroad, you know, he called me at 3 a.m. his time. I'd like the record to show that per my last correspondence with Maher, the owner of Queen City, that his discussions with Ms. Fields was regarding rehabilitation of the building, because that's something that we're actively working on, and not a redevelopment. So I apologize if there was any miscommunication there. I just wanted the record to show that that was his intention, and from what he told me, that's what was said. So there was no interest in any kind of redevelopment of that building. And so with that, I ask the council to vote no in passing the resolution 380-24. Thank you.
Yep. Which resolution would you like to speak?
380-24, the one I just mentioned?
Sure.
I know there's a lot of development.
Name and address for the record, sir.
I'm sorry?
Name and address for the record.
Jonathan Anderson. I live on Huntington Avenue.
Thank you.
I know there's a lot of development going on. I think this discusses it on Watchung Avenue around the courthouse. I mean, from 5th to the court place and around the City Hall building. But what about the Y? I mean, why is that still sitting empty? It could be a place that could be used for our kids to go after school. You know, I don't see any development going on that addresses the youth of this town. You know, they get out of school, they have nowhere to go. You know, that building, as well as the other Y on the other side of town. could be utilized for kids to have a safe haven to go after school. Daughters are not going home alone, you know? So it just seems to me that I haven't seen the kids of Plainfield addressed in at least 12 years. You know, I see Rock and Myrtle, baseball field sitting empty. I drove by there with an 80-year-old man once who said, I played baseball on that field. Okay? My daughter grew up, she's in college now. She's never played baseball on that field. She's never seen anything happening on that field. So I'm just wondering why the town seems to be doing a lot of development. I don't think that we're getting anything for it from these developers. Well, why aren't we addressing the youth of this town? Because they're moving out and they're not coming back. Our best and brightest are going to the military, they're going to college. I was just speaking to some kids the other day in their mid-20s. They said, I'm not coming back to Plainfield. Why should I? What did it offer me? So if we develop our kids and give them something to remember, they'll come back and help build the town. And I don't see that happening. This entire conversation is a lot of money being thrown around to develop this area, but nobody mentioned an empty building right across the street from City Hall. That's just my thought.
Good evening, everyone. Just to piggyback off of what he just stated, my name is Nellie Roberts. I reside at 415 Parkside Road. And just to piggyback off of what he said, I am also in disbelief at the amount of new developments that you guys have and have been voted on. And as a mother of 3 as well, we do not, just to emphasize, there's not a lot of activities for our youth. On top of that, I have to pay for recreational services for my children in Scotch Plains. That's $175 a month, about $2,100 a year. I own a home here, I pay taxes, and again, redevelopment of things that actually matters, like the whys, is something that you guys need to put an emphasis on. Secondly, I was listening and I heard that 65 million.
Excuse me, can you clarify which resolution you're talking about?
It's the one he just mentioned, just to be.
380, okay, thank you.
Okay. And just on top of that, to add, I was listening, I heard that $65 million in incentives were given to the city from the developers. And just overhearing what what the money would be allocated to wasn't really a primary effect for a lot of us. For the residents here, we have the homeless population. That is still a big deal. It's something that needs to be addressed. We have the drug addicts on the streets. It's an eyesore for a lot of us. And I think those things should be also of importance too. Just to add to what more people were saying. Also on top of that, I think as members of this Plainfield community, you guys are not listening to what we want. And if you look around you, a lot of us are here because we're disappointed at the increase of apartment buildings. And if you ask them, they'll tell you, we're the one that voted you guys into office, and you guys are doing a poor job in representing us as residents of this community. So that's all I wanted to say. Please listen to the people that are here, outside of here, because many of us resonate the same sentiments and we feel the same way. Thank you.
Sal Carano, 1284 East Front Street, First Ward. I'm here to discuss, I'm wearing a few hats tonight. So this particular hat is in reference to, I'm on the board of directors for the Humane Society on Rock Avenue. And Resolution 382-24, I understand it's non-condemnation. I'd like to know or be assured this evening, or at least on the record, that this will not affect, it is a flood zone, so it will not affect the Humane Society, the building, or any of its property if the planning board, the city, the administration decides to redevelop that area. And if they do, how will they approach the Humane Society in what potentially could be their need? Thank you.
Thank you. Public comment is now closed. Sorry. It's closed. No, come on. It's okay. I'm just kidding. Did you speak already?
Pardon?
Did you speak already regarding the resolutions this evening?
No, not the resolution.
It was a specific resolution, right?
You know, it was ordinance.
Please go right ahead.
Okay, thank you. Richard Loosely, 310 Hillcrest Avenue. I'd like to speak to Resolution 385-24, the Brownfield remedial investigation of the property at the 1000 block of Arlington Avenue. I was in Plainfield 25 years ago. The remediation of that property, which used to be a gas station, was a major issue. It was a major issue because the city of Plainfield paid a lot of money to do a remediation of that property. The final, after the remediation, reports were filed with the DEP, and everything was approved. In fact, the city had entered into a contract with the developer to construct townhouses on that property. He did construct townhouses catty corner in the 1100 block of Arlington Avenue. So I spoke with Mr. Neerstadt, the former city engineer, prior to this meeting, and he said the DEP reports are on file in the planning department, and that if the city is seeking to go back to square one and start over again, it's unnecessary and a waste of money. And whether it's the Plainfield's money or whether it's the New Jersey Economic Development Authority's money, it's still $91,000 that doesn't need to be spent if the DEP has already signed off on the remediation of the property done 25 years ago. And that's my opinion. Thank you very much.
Name and address for the record and the resolution you're speaking regarding.
Rich Sudol, 313 Franklin Place, Plainfield, New Jersey. Speaking about resolution R378-24, Planning Board conducting an area in need of redevelopment. This is our City Hall property. It's iconic. It's on our City of Plainfield logo, historic structure. So I'm just kind of questioning the need for a city-owned property to be declared in need of redevelopment. I don't see how it could meet any of that criteria being deteriorated or any other sources of that. And then, as our City Hall building, we've all been in that building. And if you ever look up, I just wanted to note what it says. Inscribed on the front of the building, it says, "Erected by the people to inspire zeal for the common welfare and dedicated for them to the cause of just and capable government." And I feel that inscription and the people out here at all these council meetings and even some of the council meeting members, commenting about the amount of redevelopment and all the redevelopment studies that are coming in, I don't really think this is what the residents and the people are looking for. So I just wanted to put that out there and just think about that inscription that's on our City Hall building and what it actually means. Thank you.
Okay, public hearing is now closed. Director Fields and any other director that'd like to chime in on some of the comments that were made, please go right ahead.
Sure. To look at resolution 380-24, and that one is speaking to the area that it's not actually, so 380-24 is to look at the area that's along Watchon Avenue, that's in between 5th Street and also Court Place. So if we're looking at a redevelopment study, it doesn't necessarily mean that the area is blighted. What it means is that there's an opportunity for development. A criteria for development also includes smart growth and adaptive reuse. Particularly with the Queen City Roasters, meeting with the owner of that property, who is a great business owner. We've had several activities at that with his father as well, to talk about several development activities, to look at the possibility for redevelopment here, knowing that he wants to develop a gourmet restaurant. Also looking at doing the adaptive bulk requirements that would allow him to do outdoor dining and maintain the beauty of that building. So I definitely agree with the comment that was made earlier by the resident, but give him an opportunity for incentives for development to enhance and continue with the transformation of Plainfield that does not equal more apartments or tearing down of any structures. Then what we're looking at with 379-24, the Salvation Army, it includes both lots 6.01 as well as 6.02, because that subdivision right now, they are still listed as the same address. We are still in the process of getting the tax maps registered, so we have to take them together until they're officially listed separately, but we will only be looking at 6.02, which is the gravel part of the lot, not looking to designate a redeveloper for the Salvation Army building itself or their parking lot. Then looking at 378-24, this is not the City Hall building. This is the City Hall parking lot blocks and lots that are behind the building. So there's a parking lot. It is divided into 3 different parcels. This is looking to develop a sustainable parking garage structure, which will be sensitive not only to the environmental uses, but it will be sensitive to the character of the historic area itself. Again, this is just a study. It will not touch the City Hall building. Looking at the cultivation one, I'm trying to make sure that I cover all the questions. We had a question about the cultivation LLC. So there was a reference to Culture, which is a cannabis LLC that was recently approved with the planning board approval just last Thursday. This is the same developer. We will not be pursuing a cultivation and manufacturing business opportunity with them. In terms of 382-24, the Humane Society lot is actually not on here. It is not included for redevelopment, but again, all uses that are on this property will continue. In terms of looking at recreation, the council did recently adopt earlier this year the Center of Excellence. That is the old YMCA building. It is a 55,000 square foot building that will be used for adaptive reuse to continue with the Center of Excellence, which will be a community center and an enrichment center. It will have things such as a competition pool, a basketball court, classrooms, workforce development center, indoor turf facility, a fitness center, and different workout and multi-purpose spaces in it. It will be operated. Right now, the administration is looking to contract with the operator of Chelsea Piers as the operator. We are also looking at different recreation that the council adopted this year that was presented at the pilot workshop, which is 768 to 900 North Avenue. This is a 5-acre site that's diagonal to Seidler's Field. It was adopted by the city council for a redevelopment and approved for a financial agreement for a 5-acre site to be developed as not only a warehouse on the first floor, but also a second floor that will be a combination of 120,000 square foot recreation space that will allow for tournament-style sports competition. So it could be basketball, it could be a soccer field, it could be a pickleball court, and it will have a fitness center as well as a restaurant. To go to the remediation for 385-24, DEP sent us a requirement to test to make sure that the site remediation still held strong. The city did not choose to spend the money. Bill Neerstadt was a planner, not an engineer. This is to look for a certified licensed site remediated professional to go and test the site according to state and federal standards. It was required by DEP. The city did not choose to do so.
Council President, is it all right if I ask two follow-up
Yes,
questions?
go right ahead.
Director Fields, one of the residents, Nancy Pinwar, said that property was taken from the Salvation Army. Is that true?
It was purchased from the Salvation Army.
Okay, so it was not taken. Yep, sure, it was purchased. Yep. The other question I have, the Humane Society in Plainfield, they don't service Plainfield animals, is that correct?
Oh, that's correct.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to be clear on that. Okay, thank you.
Any other council?
Comment as well?
Go right ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say the Center of Excellence that you were talking about, that's the YMCA across the street.
It is.
The project that I think is really great, but we did forget to include that it's going to be 240 apartments built there as well. So just to be transparent and honest with the people.
Mayor, go right ahead. Quiet in the gallery, please. Thank you.
I think we need to state the facts. The Center of Excellence will not have any apartments. The residents of this city have been asking for affordable housing. So behind the Y, which is the former ABC kitchen supply property, behind the Y, we are looking to build affordable housing for the people of the city who need affordable housing. But contrary to what has been put out there on the buzz and other places, there will not be one apartment unit at the Center of Excellence, not one. It will be 55,000 square feet of recreational transformation, serving all of the people of the city of Plainfield. And we will continue to address the needs of this city for affordable housing units, which will go behind the Center of Excellence on Cleveland Avenue.
Thank you for the clarification, Mayor. Certainly, in walking and talking to residents, those are things that they have been clamoring for. People say they need affordable housing. And I do see the administration addressing that in many instances. And I will continue to support efforts to build affordable housing, both for rent and for ownership, especially ownership, because I think that in order to latch on to the improvements that the city is making, you need to be able to own a piece of the equity as the city grows. So I'll continue to support affordable housing in all respects. Regarding recreation, I'm certainly excited about what is to come with the Center of Excellence. It's another thing that anytime you talk to somebody that remembers the Plainfield of old, they talk about the opportunities that the kids had back then in boxing and so forth. How the Second Street Youth Center, et cetera. And the Center of Excellence addresses that, as well as the other opportunities that are coming. Not to mention what's coming at Rushmore, which will be a state-of-the-art splash pad that is something that will rival what that hardly any cities across the state have, and that's something that will be right here in Plainfield. It will be another jewel, another reason to be proud of Plainfield. The thing is, these things take time. These things take meetings, they take discussions, they take community input. It's not something that can happen overnight, but these are all plans that are well in the works. And we just hope that you all have patience for us as we continue to bring you the things that we hear that residents are clamoring for. So, where am I in this meeting?
I've been wondering the same thing.
I'm calling for. Yeah, that was a moment. But so we're on. We've closed public comment, and we are now at the consent agenda.
Correct.
Okay. So please announce the consent agenda.
The consent agenda items have been identified as resolutions R 35924 through R 37724, R 38124 through R 38824, with the exception of R 36824, where Councilwoman Sessoms abstained. The non-consent agenda items are R 37824, R 37924, and R 38024.
Okay, can I have a roll call on? Yes.
Can you clarify something?
Sure.
I thought it was 368 that Councilman Sessoms that abstained on.
Let's clarify.
I'm mistaken?
I have R 36824.
That's correct. Right. That's correct. Oh, I thought you said another.
Okay. All righty. So can we vote on the consent agenda with still noting her abstention?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call on consent agenda items. Council members Briggs Jones,
Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Sessoms,
Yes.
Wyatt,
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. The consent agenda items have been approved.
Okay. Can you please read the remaining resolutions?
Okay, so R 37824 is a resolution authorizing the planning board to conduct an area in need of redevelopment for certain blocks and lots on Watchung and 6th Street.
Okay, can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
And a roll call, please.
Roll call on R 37824. Councilwoman Briggs Jones.
No.
Councilwoman Cherry.
Yes.
Councilman McCray.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sessoms.
Yes.
Councilman Wyatt.
No.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is 5 in favor, 2 opposed. This resolution has been approved. R 37924 is a resolution authorizing the planning board to conduct an area in need of redevelopment for Block 644, Lot 601 and 602.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call on R 37924. Councilwoman Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
No.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
And Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That's 6 in favor, 1 opposed. This resolution has been approved.
Madam Clerk, I want to interrupt you because regarding Councilwoman Darcella Sessom's abstention, I actually want to pull that out separately from the consent agenda and then vote on that one separately so she can have a proper abstention.
Okay. Resolution 38024 is a resolution authorizing the planning board to conduct an area in need of redevelopment for certain blocks and lots on 5th Street, Watchung Avenue, and Court Place.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call on R38024. Councilwoman Briggs Jones?
No.
Councilwoman Cherry?
Yes.
McCray?
Yes.
Sessoms?
Yes.
Wyatt?
No.
Graham?
Yes.
Council President Hockaday?
Yes.
That's 5 in favor, 2 opposed. This resolution has been approved. And then we're going to do a roll call on R36824.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call on R36824. Councilwoman Briggs Jones?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Cherry?
Yes.
McCray?
Yes.
Sessoms?
Abstain.
Wyatt?
Yes.
Vice President Graham?
Yes.
Council President Hockaday?
Yes.
That's 6 in favor and 1 abstention. This resolution has been approved.
Okay. Is that fine, Counselor? Okay, thank you. All right, any others? Is that the last one? Does that conclude?
Yes, that concludes
Okay,
the resolutions.
Okay. All right, where are we? Okay, we now move to,
Ordinance on first reading.
thank you. Please go right ahead. Read MC 2024-51 by title.
MC 2024-51 is an ordinance amending the schedule of salaries and wages adopted pursuant to Article 14, Chapter 11 of the Municipal Code of the City of Plainfield, New Jersey, 1971, Salary Amendment, Policemen's Benevolent Association, Local 19, rank and file.
Okay, I entertain a motion to adopt this on first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, clerk, roll call.
Roll call on 2024-51. Council members Briggs Jones,
Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Sessoms,
Yes.
Wyatt,
Yes.
Vice President Graham,
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been introduced on first reading.
Okay, please read MC 2024-52.
MC 2024-52 is an ordinance amending the schedule of salaries and wages adopted pursuant to Article 14, Chapter 11 of the Municipal Code of the City of Plainfield, New Jersey, 1971, Salary Amendment, Policemen's Benevolent Association, Local 19, Superior Officers.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Roll call on 2024-52. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been introduced on first reading.
Okay, please read the next ordinance.
MC 2024-53 is an ordinance amending Chapter 2:12-9, Assignment for Off-Duty Private or Quasi-Public Functions of the Municipal Code of the City of Plainfield, New Jersey, 1971.
I'll entertain a motion to adopt this on first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Roll call on 2024-53. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been introduced on first reading.
Okay, please read MC 2024-54.
MC 2024-54 is an ordinance by the City Council to amend Ordinance 17:9-30.901.2.1, temporary storage, adding privately owned salt storage in accordance with the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for Tier A municipalities.
I'll entertain a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Roll call on 2024-54. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been introduced on first reading.
Okay, MC 2024-55, please.
MC 2024-55 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield and the County of Union adopting the TODD South Redevelopment Plan Amendment dated September 5th, 2024.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Roll call on 2024-55. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been introduced on first reading.
Thank you. A total of 30 minutes has been allocated for all public comments. If anyone wishes to speak, please come up. Any topic is able to be discussed. Name and address for the record.
Okay,
Welcome
Gloria
back.
Parker. Thank you. Westerville Avenue. I am in the complex, the apartment building on Westerville. Been there 8 years. But now there's an issue with noise. We understand that there's places that have opened here in Plainfield. And there's one place on Watchung Avenue. It's the Mama Wana or something it's called that. All I'm asking is, do it have to be so loud? The music is very loud. We can hear it. And even on Westerville Avenue, during the summertime, the tenants are placing their sound system on their porches. They're having parties, past time. I've had to call the police officers, and I know they're probably tired of me calling. There was a party going on. I can see out my window going towards Sanford behind Bank of America. Parties going on where the police literally, they do come, and I thank them for coming. But why should a person have a party and the police comes, and that party did not end until 6 a.m. in the morning, Sunday morning? For me to have my granddaughters visit me from Maryland, we can't watch TV, put the window down, we're still hearing all of this music, and turning my TV up because I needed to get louder so I can hear the TV. This is not good. And this has been going on. I've been there 8 years. 8 years. So I understand. I'm a part of the Civic Trust in Plainfield. We can do things where we don't have to blame anyone, but we can do something about what's going on without blaming anyone. And that's what we learn about in the Civic Trust. How to come together and don't have to blame, but get along in that area of trying to do something about things. I hear a lot of things that's been said here in Plainfield, but we need to get to a point. I've known Plainfield for years. My parents, as a little girl, I come from Jersey City. My parents had a house in Jersey City. They would bring us over here on Sunday evenings to visit their friends, and we would be so happy because we love it. It was different. Yes, we all have gotten older. It was different. But to come in your city now, and the weekend, all you hear is all of this noise. This is not Plainfield. This is not how it used to be. It doesn't have to be like this, but we can rectify and do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Sherry Bullockton, 60 Central Avenue. Number one, I have several subjects. Number one is about the Watchung Avenue Bar. You can hear them outside the police station on the weekend. And I've been one of the nags that called the police to ask them to turn the noise down. So maybe if they would be threatened with losing their liquor license, maybe the bar owners would keep the music down. Because there's prostitution going on, there's drug dealing going on, there's fights going on. Sometimes you can't hear some of the stuff going on because the music's so freaking loud. And if you own a business or you live in that residential neighborhood, you have a right to peace and quiet. And we should not have to call the police. The police should be there already, going inside and telling the guy to turn the music down. If not, you're going to lose your liquor license because it's ridiculous. Number two is I would like to know if it's illegal for somebody to bury garbage, construction debris in an empty swimming pool. Because it seems like somebody here in Plainfield, and the city inspector, decided to let somebody do it. And when I reported it, because I'm white, I was punished for it. So, and I was attacked, and I had to hire security because of what was going on. And it just seemed to be ignored when I complained about it. So I would like to know John Louise, is it illegal to bury garbage in people's swimming pool?
I'll have him,
Okay.
any director can address
All
your
right,
question at
so
the
again,
conclusion.
the situation was ignored and it wasn't addressed, and I'm very upset about it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Nancy Pivar, 1129 Myrtle Avenue. I appreciate Councilman Graham's clarification. I do believe the city eventually paid for the property. However, if there was not a declaration of taking, then I would respectfully request that the city look at deed book 6517, page 112, docket number UNNL 1411-23, which is the City of Plainfield versus the Salvation Army. It was a civil action that said declaration of taking. So if this was in fact not a declaration of taking, I respectfully request that the city take the action necessary to remove that document from the Union County deed record books. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Tyler Mitchell. I live on 215 Spooner Avenue. I have two things I'd like to address. I understand earlier in today's meeting, we talked about the repavement of roads when utility companies do their work. I just really want to bring up the fact that if everybody in this city has a problem with Front Street being completely a horrible street to drive on, I don't understand why it hasn't been pushed to repave Front Street. I understand the traffic throughout the city would be horrendous, but at least it would be rewarding to drive on Front Street, considering that it's a highly populated street and the businesses are there. I would just like to push that Front Street be repaved crooked and possible instead of the side streets. I live on Spooner, and all I see is 3rd Street, 2nd Street are being repaved. It's not as heavily trafficked as Front Street. And my second thing I'd like to address, you guys all want to do these affordable housing, and it's amazing that affordable housing is being done in this town. But for what I've noticed and what I've seen, it seems that the people in the affordable housing are taking advantage of affordable housing and just laughing at the fact like, oh, look what the city can do. It gives me free stuff all the time just because I lie, just because I know somebody inside. Me and my family have been trying to get affordable housing for one of my family members for years, and for some reason, every time I try to do the wait list, it never seems to work because as soon as the wait list goes up, it's done within 5 seconds. I think there should be more stricter policies or maybe a stricter check through to see who actually needs affordable housing in this city, because every time I drive past Grant Avenue apartment buildings, one of the affordable buildings in the city, I shouldn't have to see somebody driving out of the parking lot with a Maybach or a Mercedes. If you can afford a Maybach or a Mercedes, you don't need affordable housing. You can buy your own house. Thank you.
Hello, Kathleen Nietzsche, 716 Huntington Avenue. I wanted to thank you for tonight's meeting and for listening to the public, and I really want to encourage everybody to listen to what the concerns were, and I want to thank the residents for coming out and speaking. When listening to the planning process and the explanation of how the apartments are going in, it would be remiss for me not to come up and mention the EMS services, especially given my family background. I come from a lot of first responders, and every time they go out and then I have to wait, for them to come back in, they are on my mind, and I'm sure that all of you are very indebted to our first responders as well. When we're going through the planning process, it was mentioned that the fire and police department had the opportunity to look over the plans before the final buildings were put into place. Since we don't have a formal EMS squad right now, and we have mutual services that are working on our behalf, who looks at those buildings to make sure that our first responders, our emergency responders can get there, if there's AEDs properly made there, if there's enough entrances for the handicap, and think of a first responder, an EMS person coming with a huge ambulance, plus having to get the stretcher out of the back of the ambulance, and your loved one having a heart attack, or a stroke, or an aneurysm, something that is like life-threatening and very time-sensitive. They cannot go from the front of a building and go 2 blocks in order to get to you, or wait for see if there's a faster type of a floor, like the elevators. So I really hope that that's built into your plans. I also hope that there's also built into your plans, which I had not heard of, and I'm sorry if I didn't hear it, but is there plans to go through mutual aid. There is a lot of mutual aid that goes through our city, from 22 all the way to South Plainfield. With all these big buildings, there's going to be a lot of people. God forbid we have a catastrophe. We need to make sure that all those ambulances, fire departments, police departments can get through our roads efficiently, and also we also owe it to our surrounding areas because they use our services for mutual aid. That's how we all work together. So thank you very much, and thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Jacqueline Casey. I'm a resident at 1113 Thornton Avenue. I'm here to address the situation on the corner of Martine and Park Avenue. It's 1009 Park Avenue, the former Home First building. The garbage, raw garbage outside in the rear of that building is horrendous. There's rats, other varmints running around. Are we going to have the same situation New York has with the rats? Because this is not being taken care of. I've been addressing this with the with inspections since June, and it still continues to go on. I don't understand it. I don't know whether, I know they said they had summoned the owner of the property, but okay, you summons them, you bring them to court, but still, the garbage is still there. And that's not fair to the residents there. We have to pay for a Viking or somebody to come in because we have to get rid of the rodents. It's horrible. Also, I'd like to address the situation on Thornton Avenue with the parking. I don't know how these individuals get these vans and have regular plates on them. They're not commercial, but you can clearly see that they're commercial because there's ladders on top of them and all kinds of debris they have inside the trucks and so forth. And they continue to park on that street. You can't even get through sometimes. It's ridiculous. And I don't know what the law is. I know they said they can't ticket unless it's a commercial plate. But I don't even know how DMV gives people these plates and clearly see that it's not a regular vehicle, it's a commercial vehicle. So, also, I'd like to address one thing more. The property on the corner of Thornton and Park has been vacant for 10 years. 10 years. I see the owner, they do come in when I complain about the grass not being cut or the snow not being removed, okay? Then they get out and do what they have to do. But why is property, it's a huge piece of property. I don't know what she's waiting for to get an offer for an apartment building probably be built there. But the people stop and ask me, is that house for sale? Because it's been vacant for 10 years. No activity, nothing. So hopefully it gets addressed in some form or fashion. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Stuart Seiden Stricker, 225 Watchung Avenue. I am, of course, disappointed for you to passing 2450, and I suggest that you would get in touch with the folks that were displaced. Our organization can help you do that. From my understanding, working with them for about a year and a half, just one council person talked to this whole group, and I suggest that you take a look at that. But mostly I'm concerned about the democratic process going on. If you put something on the agenda that says consideration of public hearing, and substantial elements were brought to your attention, and then you can't discuss because one unelected official stifles the discussion, maybe this should not be on the agenda. You can just make a decision, this is something we're going to decide, and close doors, and that's what we're going to do as a body, it's fine. But don't put on the agenda, you're going to have a discussion, and then you're going to stop the discussion. None of you had any questions to do, nobody had anything to add to it, and it was just voted on. I think that there's a problem with democratic process in that in my opinion. Thank you.
Sal Carano, 1284 East Front Street. Council President, I will not address the comment from Councilman Graham. There was mention of 500 units, and I am a realtor. I do know what the properties were renting for in 2018. 6 years later, they're 40 to 50% higher. So to be worried that financing may not be in place with 50% more rents, while I understand the cost has increased, no lender, if you're stable enough company, would deny it. The first billion investment in Plainfield, I commended the administration. I personally commended Mr. Mapp many a times behind the scenes. But wondered, when will we negotiate better terms for pilots? Why does it have to be 30 years? Many of us in this room have a 20-year mortgage or a 15-year mortgage. Why does it have to be 30 years? Why does it only have to be 10% affordable housing? Why couldn't it be 20? There are many, I don't think, for the second billion investment, the negotiators are good enough. I think they need to be, it needs to be addressed. The prices from approvals to actual renting have changed dramatically, and it's pushing people out of this town. It's proved one thing: gentrification comes in all sizes and colors. Green is the color that needs to be addressed. And I think a balance needs to be struck more for future. I understand you took a breath and you took it for a month. But understand, I believe we could negotiate better terms with developers. We're continuing to act as if we're desperate for development versus, in my opinion, versus we are strong, we have available properties, and we would like all parties to profit from that. Thank you.
Okay, we'll close public comment in person. If there's anyone online,
We have two people with their hand raised virtually.
okay. Please unmute them. They should unmute themselves. Name and address for the record.
Caller ending in 825, I think it's Mary Burwickle again. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay. Come back to go to the next caller. Maybe she'll unmute herself.
And the second caller just dropped their hand.
Okay.
So,
All right. Go right back to Mary Burnwork and see if she's available.
she still hasn't unmuted herself this entire time.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll close public comment. If any directors have any outstanding items that they wish to address from any other comments that were heard during public comment, you have that opportunity now.
Yes, good evening. There were several issues that were brought up during public comment. One being the noise downtown regarding Mama Juana Cafe. All right. The first thing that happened was there was a tenants meeting over on Westerveld Avenue that several of my officers attended, along with the residents of that building. We have since met with the individuals at Mama Juana's Cafe, and we're working out these issues where they understand that some of their activities will not be allowed anymore in the downtown area. That noise pollution from that business will be turned down, and that issue will be taken care of. And that's what I'll say on that. I'd rather show you than tell you. In terms of mutual aid in the city of Plainfield, the city of Plainfield has various agreements with the county and the state. Actually, we are one of the unique municipalities in this state where we have mutual aid agreements with North Plainfield, which is in Somerset County, and South Plainfield, which is in Middlesex County. So if there's ever any issues in the town and any of our services are tied up, including EMS, there's always somebody here to respond to emergency within the city of Plainfield. I want to make sure that's clear. In regards to Thornton Avenue and the vans, I will alert my traffic unit to that. We have been working on some of these issues overnight in the city, and we will continue to address this problem with vans on the streets in the city of Plainfield. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, please go right ahead.
Just in reference to affordability, we accept affordability since the mayor's goal of 1,000 affordable units, which was actually a year ago today. We will be announcing an update and breaking down clearly how many affordable units we have at the next council meeting. I can say that we accept the range anywhere from 10% to 100% affordable. We are well over 600 affordable units by agreements to date. I believe by our last council meeting, we will exceed the mayor's goal of 1,000 affordable units.
And Mr. Front Street, there was a question about Front Street. That's being milled and paved. The whole area is being resurfaced, sidewalks, curbs, etc., and the entire, pretty much all parts of Route 28, which is part of most of Front Street, is being addressed between now into next year, into early next year. So that's all being addressed on Front Street for the young lady that asked about it.
And, Council President, if I may add to that, it has long been the position of this administration that we will use Plainfield taxpayer dollars to repave Plainfield roadways, and Route 28 is a state highway. And we were not willing to put Plainfield taxpayer dollars to repave, to rebuild, to resurface a state-owned highway, which is Route 28. And so we work hard to get grant funds to do that so that Plainfield taxpayers wouldn't have to foot the bill. And we were successful in getting millions of dollars. Hence, you will see Route 28 being repaved with handicap accessible sidewalks, new lighting, traffic, signalization, and the goal is to use those funds to come from one end of Route 28 to the other end of Route 28 through the entire city, but with grant funds from the state and federal government.
Just one last comment, because there was a comment about tax abatements. And just so everyone knows, we did have a pilot 101 workshop on Saturday. That presentation was published on the front of our website, so it's able for download to review. So it explains all the stages of redevelopment process and the pilot abatement. In that presentation, it states that we not only give out 30-year pilots, but we also give 5-year and 10-year tax abatements, and we will be able to provide those statistics as we move forward in the presentation.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, yes, John Louise wanted to, thank you for the reminder.
If it's illegal to dispose of solid waste type 10, so without knowing all the particulars, your best would be to contact property maintenance, inspections, and they would come out. Well, that would be the process, and whatever findings they have.
I know. Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be it.
Thank you. Okay. Well, ma'am, I invite you to speak with the director after the meeting, so you can have a back and forth exchange. Okay, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.